Hi everyone, welcome to Women in Web3 podcast that celebrate the inspiring stories of women who are shaping the future of technology. I'm your host Kenneth Chu, and in each episode we dive into the world of Web3 and explore the incredible work being done by women in blockchain, NFT, metaverse, and much more. As someone who is passionate about diversity and inclusion in tech, I created this podcast to showcase the achievement and challenges of women who are making waves in the industry. Our goal is to inspire more women to get involved and help to build a world that is more equitable and inclusive for everyone. So let me introduce our guest for today's episode. Vanessa is the general manager of X3. X3 is the blockchain arm of a publicly listed tech company with 200 plus developers, front end, back end, and smart contract developers. They have been doing software development for 20 over years, blockchain projects since 2018. She's also a member of the Game Developers Association of the Philippines and an ambassador for women in games. So it's my pleasure to welcome Vanessa. Welcome, Vanessa.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Manila.
Thank you. Thank you so
How are
much,
you, Kenneth?
Vanessa.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Kenneth.
You're welcome. So, there's a tradition before we start the show, right? Every
Right.
guest gets to post the question of the day out to the next guest before we can
Okay.
officially start the show. So, are you ready to
Right.
receive the question of the day posted by the previous guest?
Sure. Okay. That's it.
Okay, so the question of the day posted by the previous guest is, how can we get more funding for female founders in Web3? Okay, so I
Right.
repeat again, how can we get more fundings for female founders in Web3? So have some time to think about it, or you already have the answer on hand.
Well, I can get a crack at it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess just like any other founder of any Web3 project, you have to put your project out there. You have to connect with as many people as you can because you may be talking to a non VC or non fund providing entity, but who knows? Maybe you'll be talking to someone who can connect you to
Yep.
someone who will be interested to fund your project. So I think it's really more of be out there, network, talk about your project a lot, like step up and participate in if you have the opportunity to project, especially in small events. I just attended one in Token 29. There was this
Mm.
beautiful event. It was actually for women, and I attended it, and they had like a mini pitching, speed pitching session that they were wherein they featured like women founders, and they had like a 5 minute session to talk about their projects. So I mean, there were like maybe 20 to 30 people there. I mean, it's not a lot, but you never know. Maybe one of those 30 people would be interested in investing, right? So, yeah, again, how can you get more funding? Network. Go out and put your project out there. Be more participative in all these events that's being provided to us by all these big organizers like Token 2049.
Wow, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for sharing
Yep.
the answer, and I totally like it because networking is one of the best way,
Yeah.
and also go for networking session where you have the potential to meet investors or even entrepreneur or even startup founders that used to be funded, right? So definitely they know the connection, and
Yeah.
also going for big events like Token 2049 where I was there. We missed each other. We were not able to, and you were
It's
attending the side
huge
event.
and crazy, right? I mean, I think there are like thousands of people there. I mean, combine it with the one fandom who was like
Yeah.
mixing and like traveling with us there. So it's like super crazy.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
heard
fun.
that this year they have like 400, like almost doubled of what was the side events for last year. It's like 400 of them, and
What?
my friend,
Really?
yes, there are 400 side events. So
I
other than that, one of my friend who have attended Dubai's Token 2049, she said that Singapore is way bigger, way
yeah.
more big, much more fun, right? Yeah,
Oh my God.
than the one.
My
So
my feet were actually cursing. I
yeah.
was cursing before that entire week I spent in Singapore just for that. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
another story altogether.
that's good. So now we can kickstart with the show. So
Yeah,
especially for those who are seeing you for the first time, right, Vanessa? So can you share with us where are you from, and what were you doing before you hop into Web3 or even in gaming, and how you got
right.
started in this space?
All right. Okay. I guess my background has really always been in business development and sales and marketing. I started out fresh out of college. I started working in an advertising agency in media as sales and for business development. And then early in my career, digital advertising was getting more popular. Back then, it was just television, radio, and print, right? And then the non-traditional media was digital, and that was getting of course internet penetration rate wasn't that much, that wasn't a big back then. But then I realized that the potential was really huge, and I wanted to always, I guess there's this desire for me to always like push the boundaries and always try to challenge myself to learn something new. So I got into this mobile marketing company, mobile content provider called Surpass. I joined the company in 2007 as a business development representative. So we sold enterprise solutions, mobile content. So it was digital. That was the earliest form of digital. If you remember, back then, there were not a lot of people who had access to the internet.
Yeah.
But in the Philippines, every person has a mobile phone. It could be like the black and white, the brick and mortar mobile phone. So the first digital marketing um, medium that actually had mass adoption is actually SMS. So that
Oh
was
yeah.
that was my first crack at digital advertising and digital marketing. So it's via SMS. So that's 2007, and then obviously internet penetration grew. We moved from SMS to rich media. We got into websites, and then the smartphones came out. There was there was mobile applications, and I mean, it's ever changing. And then in 2018, there's this thing called blockchain technology. Nobody here, so sorry, that was 2017. It's 2017. Here in the Philippines, we've all heard about cryptocurrency already way back before, but this was the era where a lot of token projects started wanting to build their own minimum viable product. And as a software development company, obviously we take on these projects because these are like cutting edge projects that we knew that it was going to be the future. Blockchain technology applied to enterprise solutions, for example, that was something quite new back then. So in fact, the company actually that I work for, Surpass, they sent me to Singapore in SUSS. That's where I actually had like a quick crash course on blockchain technology, because here it was so new, except of course for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? But the application and enterprise development, software development, is quite new for us. So yeah, we had to learn about it. Even our legal counsel also learned everything in Singapore. So we actually started building our first few blockchain projects in 2017, and some of them came out in 2018. That's why I said like we've had projects in since 2018. um, yeah, so that's where I started doing blockchain projects for Surpass. So and then late last year, we already decided to create our own division, or business unit, specifically addressing the need for more blockchain projects, especially in the game space. I decided actually to focus on games because I don't know if you know the statistic, like 62% of the startup venture fund capital was funneled into three games. So it was a no brainer for us to like choose this lane. Like we've just to let you know as well, Surpass has actually had long history with mobile casual games, so we kind of know the space as well. So incorporating that into to Web3 technology, blockchain technology is kind of something that it's not new, not very new to us. It's kind of something we have a background of for both areas. Merging them both for us, it's like it's natural for us. It's a natural progression for the company. So that's why very, I'm very active right game space, Web3 game space. We became a member of the Game Developers Association of the Philippines early this year. I've been a very active member since. In fact, shameless plug, we're actually organizing a new event, a global event, February next year. We're inviting everyone listening into this show. If you're from if you're a game studio or a buyer, a publisher, and you want to see what Southeast Asia has to offer, come to our event. It's called GameDevSummit.co. You could Google it. There's the website, and it's all the information is there. So yeah, so that's me and Web3 games. Oh yeah, women in games, right? I since I've been a very passionate advocate of Web3 games since early this year. I became an ambassador for women in
Wow.
women in games. I think that was April. That's when I was officially inaugurated as an ambassador, as part of the many women ambassadors. Actually, it's just not me. It's a roster of ambassadors that
Yeah,
will
I
have.
think you deserve it, right? Because you were the one that proposed to the company to go into games because you did all the work, the homework.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing some strategy, like obviously you don't just randomly choose to do things or participate into events that you just randomly think of, right? There has to be a strategy to it. So um obviously funds are not unlimited, right? I mean, there's always like if there's this budget that you need to work on, you have to be like laser focused on what you want, what niche you want to target. And I bet big on games because of the statistic that I learned in 2022. Yeah, so far it's been great. I've had a couple, like I think 80% of my clientele is in the Web3 game space. So
Wow.
yeah, we still have a few non Web3 games, but yeah, most of them are in games.
Wow, that is very amazing because the first time I still remember that we have this conversation over Zoom, and you were sharing so much things, and I can see that you're passionate about it. And
Yeah,
like I although I do met women who are in the game space and all that, but you seems to be someone who's very analytical, more strategy wise, and this is something that I think it stands out and
yeah.
appeal to me, and that's why I extend my invitation to invite you onto the
Thank
show.
you.
So thanks for sharing the background of yourself, so everybody get to understand where you started and how you get into the space of blockchain and then eventually into games. So there will be one question, right? Because like I mentioned, I extend the invitation to you, and immediately you agreed to be on. So the question, right? The next question I want to ask, right? This question I prepared it for all my guests is that why do you accept my invitation to be my guest on Women in Web3 podcast that is hosted by a man?
Hosted by a man.
Yeah.
To be honest, I said yes because I just wanted to share my story, especially if there are more women I could share my story with. I'd love every opportunity to do that because I myself have learned a lot from other women. I mean, who've been in this industry earlier than me, who've been doing more or bigger roles in the industry than me, and I've learned from them. So, I'd like to do the same for others, especially those who are just starting, right? Because we're still early. I mean, Web3. I mean, we're just like a fraction I mean, of the tech mix globally. So Web3 is just something that's starting, and we're more and more people are learning about it and starting just now. So yeah, if I can inspire another woman to step up and either be a founder or choose to work for a blockchain company such as my such as X3, then I'd be happy to. Now, your question about you being male, honestly, I didn't think about that. I mean, it wasn't whether it was a male or a female who was inviting me. It's really just the opportunity to share. So I think that's actually what I think, to answer your question. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Because you are the first one who didn't feel that whether it's a man or female, because you are coming from a
Really?
space, and that is also the objective of this show, is to
Yeah.
really showcase women in Web3, women in games like you, so that because you were inspired by the others, right? Your
Yes.
predecessor who are thriving in this, who are crafting this path for you guys, and that's where it inspire you. And I hope that with you coming on board, sharing your story, you will inspire another audience or women who's watching this, and also being inspired and say, hey, Vanessa can do this, I can do this too, right? And also now you were saying like 80% of the company's revenue is generating from the gaming side, right? Yeah.
Web3 games,
Yeah,
yes.
Web3 games. Yeah. So this is something that I think is very, very interesting. And having you as one of the role model, right? It is my honor and pleasure to really have you to share. And you are you are very proactive. This is what this is what I've seen after talking to you a few times. And that also brings us to the topic of this episode, which is women in games. So why we choose this topic? First thing is because you are like the fourth guest that invited onto the show that is involved with games. So want to hear from you like the whole context, right? What do you see? Because you are also the ambassador, women in games. So why? How would you explain why are women thriving, or what are the reasons that women are coming into this space a lot?
Right. Okay. So, the fact that we're all talking about, oh, why are women getting into games? Let's look at the statistics. Half of the world's gamers are actually female. Like a little bit like skewed towards the guys, it's like
Um,
1%, but half of the global gamers are female. So the fact that we're participating in half of the contributing half of the traffic for games, actually it's a no-brainer for us to be more proactive as well in the workforce. Like, although I mean, to when we check the statistic, it's just one-fourth of the global video games workforce are participated by females or by women. And it could improve. I mean, like just like any other statistic in tech. I mean, women in tech were just like a fraction of the workforce. But I mean, it's been growing exponentially year on year. And I mean, especially now that there's Web3, which is again another space that allows inclusion. I mean, and it's more welcoming to females. That's why, I mean, there are even projects like that in Web3 that are female centric. Like there are funds that are dedicated to supporting female projects, female led Web3 projects. And that alone, I mean, it's like a testament that Web3 is such a warm and welcoming and inclusive community. It's not even like it's not a it's not just like a belief. It's a community. It's very what I feel, it's really more of a collaborative community. That's why I'm so drawn to this space. I mean, uh, I don't think I'd like to work in any other space than in this not in Web3 really. Um,
Yeah, I like what you have shared on the part that is a very collaborative
yeah.
space. And like recently I've just because last week we attended Token 2049, right? And I was mentioning to you initially that I never thought of attending, but I was very blessed to be invited to attend also. And at the same time, right, there were also some of my guests from overseas that was coming to Singapore, and they were attending, and they wanted to meet up, wanted to meet up, right? And then when we met up, right, I realized that we are not stranger, although we have met online, we've been doing the interview,
Yeah.
but I think there's kind of like we felt that we are like the extended family members. Like we have a
Right.
lot of things aligned. We are like-minded. There's a lot of synergy. It doesn't matter where you are from, even the languages. Although we have a
Right.
common language, which is English, but I think there's something deeper than just online friends or online connection.
I
And
agree.
when we met up with each other, you can feel that kind of warmth, that kind of sincerity, uh,
Yeah.
that kind of being authentic at the same time,
Yeah.
and we were like old friends, right? So
Right. Kenneth, I've been doing business development and sales for so long. I realized that it's when you're in tech, it's really I'm like straightforward. I talk to you, I sell my product. If you're
yeah,
not interested, I'll move on to the next. Like I'll forget you. Maybe I'll go back, but only if you're interested. But if you're not, I won't talk to you, and I'll talk to the next one. And my goal will always be to sell, sell, sell,
yeah,
sell, sell. Right? But for the first time in my life, I mean, being involved in the Web3 space, I take my time to talk to every single person.
yeah,
It doesn't matter if this person is actually a potential sale or not.
mm,
I just give time. Why? Because one, I always have in mind my network of other friends
yeah,
who might benefit from this person I'm talking to.
yeah,
Like there's this feeling of achievement when I
mm,
get to bridge two projects and they do something beautiful together.
yeah,
I mean, I may or may not have any benefit to that.
yeah,
I mean, financially at least, or does it hit my sales target? It doesn't
yeah,
matter. Point is, the feeling like you've actually helped maybe like a founder, a
yeah,
struggling founder, bridge him to a person who's who also happens to be open to invest, or maybe like looking for a collab or a
yeah.
partner to work with to improve his or her project. And then they when you bridge them, they do something more beautiful, and it comes out, I mean, mutually beneficial for
Yeah,
them. I mean,
the
that's
fulfillment, right? The sense of
right.
fulfillment on that, and that only occurs in Web3. I do not know why. I felt the same because we have pretty much similar background. I was doing advertising sales 14 years ago with a
Right.
publisher, and then I went to our local TV station, MediaCorp, doing TV airtime sales. So when you talk about TV, radio, and all that, and then MediaCorp also had their own online digital media too. So when you say about all that, I see that we have a lot of things in common, that in the past is always sales driven, right? Like more objective.
Yeah.
There's always an intention. We are always going by the numbers, right? The more people we meet, the higher chances of us closing. But in the Web3 space, it's like we felt that our network is also helping other people at the
Correct.
same time.
And I actually personally I benefit from that too. I mean, without me even wanting to be benefit. Sometimes I just get random calls like, Van, I met someone here in this place, and I think she needs someone like you. And like I suddenly land like maybe a potential lead or even a sale,
Yeah.
from random calls from people I just met somewhere. So I mean, I mean, I don't. That's not what I. That's not the goal I have in
Yeah.
mind with my network, right? But I mean, it's. I guess it's one of the beautiful things that also happen back to you
Mm, mm, mm.
if you like open yourself up and
Yeah.
help other
I
people.
think why Web3 is in this way, right? If you realize that why people are jumping into Web3, because Web2 is kind of like the dog eat dog kind of world, right? Like
Dog eat
everybody is
dog.
trying, yeah, dog eat dog. So everybody is just trying to get a piece of the
Yeah,
pie,
the meat,
right?
the
And
meat.
that's why people who see Web3, right, because it promotes diversity, it promotes inclusion, and at the same time because it's decentralized, our belief, the ideal part of the decentralization, is something that is going to solve the world problem that we are having now, right? Because it's more
Right,
centralized, the privacy of our data, and then with decentralization, right, we are able to work with each other peer to peer without any barriers, without any red tapes, without any
mhm,
governance, right?
right,
So that's why I think that the collaborative part, right, that we want to make us like a family members.
right.
Like you're always keeping a lookout for another person. So
Yeah.
for example, like you talk about that, right? Someone was oh yeah, like yesterday I was attending this I was doing a guest lecture at one of our local U, and because she was interested in Web3, and she invited me to speak to her marketing student about Web3, and then from there, right, I just talk about it, and I had someone who are interested in um, another lecturer who's interested in Web3. So it's just keep on referring, the word of
Yeah.
mouth, and the thing just bring us together as one big family, because you will only look out for another person if he or she is your family members, right? So I
Correct.
felt like it's like extended family. And during the side events, like I was telling you, that I never thought of attending any side events, but because I know people in Web3 say, "Oh, can I come and join my events and stuff like that?" So because I'm more introverted, so I'm only close with people who have relation I built on. I will not like really go out there to reach out unless there's something that attracted me. So I would say Web3 space is very unique. The culture, the people who jump into it and see the beauty of it, and we kind of share a lot of things in common. Like for you coming onto my show because you like this space, you want to contribute. There's a lot of giving I see in this space. There's a lot of giving without expectation of reciprocate and or anything. We just want to give back and contribute as much as possible. Even for me, I when I run this show, right, I'm not monetizing from it, because I'm seeing that if I can have a platform to spotlight women that is thriving in this Web3 space, and telling more women that you should be on it because it is a space for you. It is finally a great opportunity for you to come in, because you can be the first mover. You can be as creative. You don't need to be really a tech person, because the tech part, because of the collaborative nature, right? Tech
Right.
people want to work with you because so that 1 + 1 = 4, right? Because you can be more even more powerful. So thanks for sharing on the reason and your take on that. And I think the Web3 culture is also very cohesive, right? Like when you guys were in Singapore for Token 2049, it's like asking friends, let's come and gather. It's like a
Yeah.
networking, a gathering place for all of us. So having said that, right, we have been talking like how women can thrive in this space. So what can we do, right, to have more women in Web3? What would be your take,
Yeah.
and how can we do it?
How will we have more women? Like exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to invite more. I mean, especially students, right?
Mm,
It always starts from those who are interested in the technology, like from students who right about it, or have tried playing a Web3 game, or have tried trading cryptocurrency and are very interested about it, but they don't know how to start, or they have a brilliant idea, but they don't know how to start, or they don't know how to move forward with it. Just connect with as many. I mean, if you're scared and I mean, like any other startup and founder, like there's always fear of being rejected or embarrassed, right? Especially if you think, I'm not credible enough, or I'm not knowledgeable enough in this space. I might be I just might embarrass myself. So um, don't worry, try to reach out to as many female web3 practitioners, or web3 founders. They'd be there's a thing about, I mean, a woman talking to another woman, we're a bit more patient, and we try to explain a bit more, because we really want to support each other. I mean, I don't know with guys, if you guys are doing the same thing, but women, we always try to be more accommodating, and more, we try to be more understanding, especially for those who are just starting. So yeah, please feel free to contact me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Telegram. I will do my best to find time to to help you out. I mean, if you need connections, you can always let me know what you need. I'd be happy to connect you with someone I may have connections with, if I ever do. And what else? I guess, yeah, participate as well in a lot of the female led events like this one. I remember this one, the first ever female side event I attended that really inspired me to step up and be more proactive in helping other women out. Is this brunch in Paris? It's a Herdao
Oh yeah.
sponsored
Mm.
brunch. Okay, this was the first ever. Like, I knew about side events, right? So I attended so many side events, mostly male. Obviously, there are a lot of guys in the Web3 space. So you network, but then this Herdao, Herdao brunch I attended. It was just all women, obviously, and the moment we started talking to each other, asking about our projects, what we're up to, I realized, oh my God, I mean, most are into advocacy projects, education, and I mean, community driven projects that are so far from what the normal projects you'd
The
hear
tech,
about.
right?
If you
Yeah.
go to other side events, others are like DeFi projects, NFTs, all these quick buck projects
Yeah.
that you'd normally meet in a side event. But in a women brunch such as that I attended, oh my God, it's like, I want to listen to what your project is about. How can I help? Because like, one of them is like supporting a community in her country by through like their artists. They have local artists there. They created this NFT project to support the livelihood of these young artists in her country. I'm like, how can I help you? I mean, it's such a very meaningful project that can really be helping real people with real problems, right? And they're utilizing Web3 technology in monetizing and helping out their communities. And yeah, that's the general feeling that I feel when I attend a female-led or female-hosted side event. And
Is it
yes,
the one that was last week in Singapore on
there's
Friday?
also one,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the one I was telling you about, where there were like 5-minute mini pitching, like speed pitching sessions.
Mm.
That was yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, it was short, and then the panelists, the host, the panelists there, they were like giving like constructed input, like and they were truly like coaching right then and there. They were coaching the young founder, like how to present, like you should focus on this, you should, I mean, when you're ready, you should fix your slides and do this and do that, and try to position
It's
yourself
very
this.
nurturing, right? It's very
Right.
nurturing. Yeah.
I mean, whereas if you watch another, like a pitching session, it's
Yeah.
more like,
Brutal.
right, it's like a Shark Tank. Like,
Mm.
so when is your ROI? Well,
Yeah.
what's your projections, 5-year projections, and how do you
Correct.
think you move this forward?
It's more
It's
figure driven. It's more
Yeah, yeah,
statistics.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And since you talk about this, right? In fact, next month, right? Um, my business partner and I, my business partner Andrew and I, we are organizing this female founder competition, which is
oh
moving
wow,
onto that part. We are inviting diverse startup with at least 50% female founders. Then they can come in to pitch, and it's basically a pitching contest. And we are coming from a space of more empathy, nurturing,
yes,
mentoring, and really
correct,
to help them to upskill their pitching, right?
exactly.
So this
So
is
I
where,
mean, these young founders, I mean, nobody ever teaches you to how to, I mean, it's a different, like when you write a business proposal from
yeah,
college, that's different from like when you're standing there trying to pitch like your idea, and showing like a bunch of VC guys
mm,
why your project is the next big thing. It's different, and
yeah,
when you get grilled, I mean, I guess you get better as you keep doing it. But I mean,
correct,
if it's your first time,
yeah,
if you're very young and you're inexperienced, you're going to be eaten alive.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So mentorship, I think, is key. I mean, to
mm,
have more successful projects, women projects
yes,
in Web.
yeah. And when you talk about the part, right, where where like the Herdao event, that
Yeah.
there's a lot of more humanity, right, humanity kind of
Yes.
projects. And this is where I think, right, women comes into Web3, right, to contribute to kind of balance. Like the male can have all the tech, more of the statistic,
Or
more of the technology advancement to help. But I think women can come in to add to another part of the world that we are trying to solve, right? Because there's a lot of world problem. But if we can use um, blockchain technology, Web3, AI, whatever, to
Right.
really help to solve the other side of the problem. Because one of the guests was saying that if you realize, right, for centuries, right, the world had been designed based on the male reference. That means, as an example, do you drive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
do.
for driving, right, you realize the safety belt is like that on the side, right? So it's designed for men.
Depends on which country you're at, right?
Yeah, they were left and right. So,
You're
but
in
it's still,
Singapore. Okay.
yeah, so it's still cutting across, right? Which is not meant for women drivers, because when the creation, right, the inventor, right, invented the safety belt was just for men. But as more women are becoming drivers, right, this kind of safety belt may not be. If a woman were to design a safety belt, right, we will be like that, like
Mm.
those F1, right, that
Yeah,
you
like
can
or
design
the
like that.
roller coaster
Yeah,
thing.
roller coaster type of way, right? Yeah. So that's why we need another part of it, as creators, especially in Web3, right? Like you mentioned, it's such a new space. Women can contribute even more. And
Yeah,
if let's say we get women to design hair products for men, but women do not have that problem of balding, then how would they design create a product or a shampoo that will
yeah,
reduce balding, right? So I
right,
think in Web3, right, that's why I like the diversity, because everybody can have input to make
correct,
this product or this project even more holistic,
correct.
be able to help even more people. I think that is the thing that when you share, right, this is my takeaway from what you have been sharing with us. So now we have been talking about the, like, women in general, but how about you? Let's focus on you. So what are the challenges have you faced as a woman in Web3, if there's any, and if there's any, how have you overcome it?
Right. Okay, so I think I told you about, I mean, we spoke already before this session, right? And I did share with you, like, when you were asking me, was there any discrimination, had you have you had difficulty in your career? I'm like, looking back, I think I've been one of the fortunate ones to have been employed by a tech company that's actually like gender neutral. It's Surpass is one, I guess. I'm just like lucky to be employed by a company that gives equal opportunity for both males and females. In fact, um wait, I'm checking right now, the statistics of our company. I think they're like almost half of our employees right now in tech
Wow.
are female.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been looking at it right now, and it's actually uh surprising for me. I mean, the head of tech operations in my company is actually female, and
Hmm.
she's actually the first
Higher.
smart contract developer as well. And
Oh.
yeah, she's the OG, Ella. Love Ella. I mean, and I'm very proud. I mean, yeah, looking back, yeah, okay, so we're lucky, right? But I mean, there are still some challenges. Like when I go out, especially when I
Hmm.
network, I go out to Web3 events and I start talking to a man, for example, a guy. I ask him about my project and I tell him about my project, and then it seems like at first I feel like this guy probably thinks I don't know what I'm talking about, or
Mm-mm.
like he doubts probably what I know. I mean,
Yep. Yep.
I would tell the guy like I'm not a programmer, so I mean
Mm-mm.
I can't code, but I know a bit
You know
about.
your stuff.
I kind of know what I'm talking about, so I'm like I make it an effort. I guess that's why I when I strike conversations with
Hmm.
males in a side event, for example. I exert effort to give my opinion
Yeah.
or my take on specific technology, or ask him the right questions that make
Mm-mm.
him think that I'm not to be messed with.
Yeah.
I'm not shallow.
Yeah.
I know
You know your
what I'm
stuff.
talking about. I'm interested about real technology and how this will solve real world problems.
Yeah.
And I have an opinion about that too. And
Mm-mm.
here it is. I'll tell you what I think. Right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's I guess it's something that I try to do to compensate for. I don't know. Again, maybe it's just me. I have this um preconceived
Yeah.
notion that the person I'm talking to
Mm-mm.
may have been thinking, because obviously I can't read everyone's
Yeah,
minds.
of course. Yeah.
But yeah, there's that extra effort for me
Mm-mm-mm.
to express myself, and be um let the person that I'm talking to know that women aren't, yeah, I mean, we're not just display
Mm-mm.
flowers.
It's not being stereotyped.
We're
Not.
not, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're thinking people. We
Mm-mm.
sometimes we may even be smarter than you are. So
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
you're
yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
when I came into this space, I realized that because in the very beginning, right, it's majority male, but as
Yes,
women start to understand about Web3, understand about the benefits of Web3, the peer-to-peer, the decentralization, the
right.
interoperability, the peer-to-peer. I think that the thing is with all these element in Web3, right? Women can have a stand, can have a voice. And
Yes.
like you mentioned, right, although you are not the developer, you
Yeah.
are not in the tech, but because in a company, right, you can have fantastic technology, but you have no one to market it, you have no one to think of the operation, the manpower, the logistic. It's just
Right.
like a white elephant, right, being displayed there, and nobody is going to care about it. Like a game, you can design a best game ever, but if you can't market, you can't reach out to the market, nobody knows about your fantastic product or fantastic game, right?
Right.
So you
Right.
need as a whole. And that's why I felt that even like when I met my CTO for the first time, right? Um, he doesn't understand why Web3 can help because he has his own blockchain software because they are only seeing things from their lens. They do not know that in fact their technology can help so many people, can help to solve the problem that web 2 can't solve and web 3 can solve because of the barriers like women, because of the decentralization, because of the peer-to-peer. Women can work more effectively, more efficiently, and the opportunity that can bring onto the space, for example, to have inclusive hiring. These
Mm.
are things that they as tech people they do not know. They are living in their world. They do not know about the real world is happening where women come in because women feel, right, women empathize, women are compassionate, so they know that what is happening, they are more sensitive of what's happening. And they when they understand, like for your case, you understand that there's a need, that more and more women, like 50%. When you told me the statistic, I was like, I didn't know that. So coming from you, right, coming from your perspective, you're telling me that, and now you are sharing with me that your company have like unconsciously, right, you have more women in your company, especially
Oh,
in
we
the tech.
basically almost equal. Yeah.
Yeah. So which is a testament to that is possible, right? When you do in Web3 and it's more inclusive and there's no longer, I think the gender really doesn't matter. It's what you are putting on onto the table, what you
Yes.
have in you. So I think and this is what we have mentioned about the collaborative, right? The culture that we have in Web3. That this is what you like, I like, we love it. We want to make sure that we can all come together. Everybody can chip in every part. Like we are a community. That's why the fundamental of Web3 is back to community, right? With this community, we can do even bigger things. We can help even more people because the technology allows us because of decentralization. So I think this is something that is very interesting and the statistic that you have shown, and I really hope that we can have include more women into this space so that we can solve more problem because the technology, if you are only solving half the population problem, right, you're not solving the world problem. But when
Yes.
you include women in, this is where I see that we can help
Yes.
even solve more world problem. So
Right.
thanks a lot for sharing your challenges, especially I think this is more of what the world, the society, and especially media, right, had kind of framed us in this stereotype. Women do
Yeah.
this, men do that. But in fact, in the real world, it's not, right?
Not.
So I think sometimes we just need to be more open-minded
Right.
and more be able to receive criticism and construct as long as they are constructive and it help
Right.
you to grow. I think that would be good. So but now we have hear from you, right, the challenges, and we are seeing more and more women stepping up, more and more women getting involved in the web3 space, in gaming. So what do you see the role of women, right, playing in shaping the future of businesses and society?
Okay. In general,
Yep.
like outside of games. right?
Inside games, outside games.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, global population we're half. So like workforce in tech skewed towards males, but I mean it's getting the pie is changing. I
Mm,
mean the cut of the pie is slowly changing to be reflective of the global population distribution. Um, I think women will be taking on more and more leadership roles in the
mm.
space, especially as we get to learn more about the technology. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the Web3 space who can claim like they know everything
Yep.
about Web3, right? I mean, we're
It's still
always
new.
like saying we're all learning, we're still learning, we're still learning. It's very young. We don't know everything. So, I mean, the fact that we acknowledge that there's so much room to learn. I mean, it's the same thing with women. I mean, there's so much room for you to catch up
Yep.
and learn. I mean, we're all like still in this huge potential that we
Yep.
haven't tapped just yet.
Yep.
And you're it's very early. So, I mean, there's still so much opportunity
Possibility.
for
Yeah.
women, yeah, to be part of the community, to learn about the technology and step up to roles of leadership,
Mm.
right? And I see that happen in the next few years. And in games, for example, I'm very excited because one of the biggest trends right now in Web3 games is that the AAA studios, the traditional
Mm.
Web 2, we call it Web 2, that's basically the AAA traditional studios, game studios, are now exploring Web 3 as well.
Yep.
And for women in games, actually, who have been working in games, to be part of that ecosystem,
Wow.
Web3 games, there's also a huge opportunity for that. I
Mm-mm-mm.
don't, I guess I'm also fortunate to be in this position where I'm like walking like right in the middle of the traditional
Correct.
enterprise
We are like the
side,
hybrid, right? Hybrid. Yeah.
hybrid, really. Like when I attend conferences, I could do both government blockchain or
Yeah.
enterprise blockchain projects, and I can do games as well.
Yeah.
So
Because you understand both sides, right?
there's like this Venn diagram, and I like cross multiple ones. Like I'm also doing like AI stuff now. By the
Mm.
way, like it's all like falling into place,
Yep.
and I mean it's seeing the trend that women are getting more and more involved in tech
Mm-mm.
and getting more and more updated in these latest technologies. There's a chance for us to hold bigger or more or well higher roles or roles of leadership. I
Yep.
guess that's actually what I see happening very soon.
That's good. And I see that another possibility is that because women, whatever they have expertise on, right? As long as they understand Web3, it can be implemented into
Right.
become a real world use case. I think women who are professional, for example, if you are a lawyer with many years of experience,
I was about
you,
to tell you yesterday because Philippine Blockchain Week, the event that's
yep,
ongoing right now in the Philippines, it's one of the biggest blockchain events hosted by the Philippines. By the way, I was there yesterday. Was the opening session, and I met government officials, healthcare guys, a lawyer,
mm,
and when we talk about Web3, I just it comes out my ideas coming out of my
yeah, popping,
brain.
right?
Fill it out like I mean you're a lawyer, there's so much we need so much help
Yep,
when it comes to you know
in
um,
this space.
writing policies
Mm,
that would uh, that would how do you say this, like guide us
yep,
and guide the space, especially in decentralized finance. It's something that hasn't been
look into.
looked into just yet. And
Mm,
lawyers like you who have like the traditional background getting into Web3, you could contribute to this policy making process. And
yep.
there's it's still new. Again, I told the same spiel. We're still very it's still new. The technology is very new or very young, and so there must be some policies
Mm,
to
in
be
place, yeah.
implement in place, right, to guide us and guide the future projects as well. So, and then there's the healthcare guy, and there's it's
You see all the possibility, right? Because for
right.
you because I see that the thing with the similarity between both of us, right, is that we can see that connection. right? The real world, what's happening in the traditional world and whatever that's in Web3, we understand it, we know how to fuse it together. We are
Right.
like the bridge. We
Right.
understand and we can connect them together. And we felt there's a need. And until they are being introduced, that what is the possibility, and that all these traditional lawyers or even my CTO open up, oh, okay, we can do this to merge
Right.
it together.
Right.
And that's where the collaborative part comes in,
Right.
and that's the opportunity, the possibility of building this together. I think
Right.
that is the most important. But like I would say, when I hear that you guys are having like the Philippine blockchain week, right,
Blockchain
you
week.
guys are having the government coming in. I know that your government is very supportive
our
on this.
keynote our keynote speaker yesterday was the senator, like the
Wow.
number one. I mean, in the polls, he was like number one. He came out number one, and the senator himself did the keynote, and everyone, like, there are people from the Department of Trade and Industry, the DOT, do you call this Department of I forgot, but yeah,
No
but
worries.
yeah, all those departments that were policy making agency representatives from the government were in attendance yesterday, and it's actually inspiring as well for me. Like, in it, we're a company who's always been trying to push blockchain technology in the Philippines, but we knew that we were a few steps behind the rest
Mm-mm.
of the world, unlike Singapore, for example. So, but seeing the government agency representatives take part of yesterday's event, it was promising. It was very promising for
Yeah,
me.
it give you guys hope, right? That
Yeah, like,
for the
I mean,
future.
digital identity, for example, our documents, our legal documents, until now are still on paper, and
Yeah,
I always have to get a certified true copy of my birth certificate.
yeah,
Every time I need it, I need to go to the National Statistics Office and order like a certified true copy of my birth certificate. I
yeah.
mean, if digital documents can be, verified in the blockchain, I mean, and all these systems, like, could just connect and check with the blockchain installed
Yeah.
system that
Can
kind
verify,
right
validate it.
verifies your identity, your
Mm.
documents, like your passport. It would actually be a world of difference when it comes to doing government
Yeah.
processes. That alone can already be solved. That's like the lowest hanging fruit that
All
I
right.
the technology can
But,
address.
I think it's good because they are open-minded. They are coming in to understand. Because like coming back to both of us, right? Because we understand both sides, right? As long as the government official that they start to understand the power of Web3, to
Yeah.
understand that how they can streamline all their processes, how
Right.
they can get things done. Because Philippines is huge, right? Even
Yeah.
much bigger than Singapore. So Singapore is easy for us to really digitize everything. Even our identity card, right, is also, we have a digital version. So a lot of the documents are digitized. We even have all everything, even our what do you call it, our graduation certificate from school is
Right.
all in digital. So
Right.
but because Singapore is small, we only have like 5 million, 6 million, but you guys have so much more, right?
We have 120 million people.
Correct.
Right.
So how can you
120,
streamline? How can you streamline and get everything digitized? I think blockchain will be the key thing,
yeah.
and transferring of files will be made. But I think it's for them to, as long as like they are participating, right? They are coming in to understand, to make it a better, and then having the agency getting involved to help them. So I think that's a very good start. I've been hearing a lot about Philippines on how you guys
We're
are
still
very pro,
actually we're still in the process, like, we're still in the first steps, early stages of
of
digital
course.
transformation. We're actually haven't really even done the centralized part yet.
Mm.
The centralized digital documentation, for example, hasn't been
Yeah.
fully
It's not easy.
implemented.
Yeah, it's not easy with like 120 million people
Yeah,
data, right?
that
So
will take a lot of
man
budget
hours.
and energy. I mean, from the government and the private sector. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
I mean, the next step would be blockchain based digital
mm,
verification, which is, again, that's like the
next
first
level.
few more steps in
Yeah.
the future. So
But
I
I
think
think
when
with
it
with
comes
with technology, with AI coming in, I think transferring of data will be much quicker. As
agree.
long as as long as the infrastructure is there, I think that will speed up everything. But there's always a possibility, right? As long as they are into they have their own foot into, because a lot of government are not getting their foot in yet. They are not open to understand
Right.
it. But I think it's a good step that you guys are doing it, which is a good role model for other countries, because as long as one country is doing it, right, the rest was, oh, why are they doing this? They'll be curious, and everybody start jumping on the bandwagon. So
Right.
I
In
think
fact,
it's
oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
good. No problem. You go
No, no,
ahead.
I was just about to say, like you mentioned AI.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everyone's excited about AI now, but the fact that AI is only as the AI result is only as good as the data, the quality of data that's
Yes,
fed into
you are
the
right.
machine, right? So, I mean, if the data is pristine and it's verifiable, which
Mm.
is something that the blockchain can offer, like
Recognize. Yeah.
can recognize. So, if the data is like pristine and verified and is,
Mm.
I mean, no one can contest the veracity of the data source.
All right.
When you apply AI, then
Yeah.
the
You
possibility.
must start at the right footing, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
You're totally right.
yeah, because I've been telling everyone here, garbage in, garbage out. If you
Yes.
input like garbage data to AI, it doesn't matter how brilliant the AI model is. I mean, it
Yes.
will always turn out like pictures with people with 11 fingers, like salmon slices
Yeah.
swimming in stream. So it depends really
It
on
could
the
be distorted, right?
quality of data that's fed into the,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think this is something that we have to understand, that the internet is not 100% clean.
Yes.
So we have to be that's why we have to be sure that the AI, whatever AI generated, right, is not, it may not be 100%. Yeah.
Right. And
But
blockchain can offer like that technology to make sure that the data being fed into it is
the source,
verified.
right?
The
Yeah.
source of data is immutable,
Authentic. Yeah.
authentic, immutable. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Time really flies. I really would
Right.
like
Okay.
love the conversation. So maybe you can share with the audience how can they get connected with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Not so much on Twitter, but I do have a Twitter account as well. Telegram. I mean, Web3. We're always on Telegram. That's actually how I make quick conversations. It's on Telegram. But if you
Mm,
want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, please do. Oh, thank you
yeah,
for posting my link there. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially those women who are starting out, are scared to put themselves out there and they're unsure. Please just hit me on LinkedIn or on Telegram, and I'd love to help you out.
Wow,
Okay.
thanks a lot, Vanessa, for offering that. Do connect with Vanessa over LinkedIn. At the same time, you can see all her experience, all her credential. So thank you once again for sharing with us all your golden nuggets. And before we end, right, like I mentioned, there's a tradition. Now it's your turn to post the question of the day out to the next guest. So are you ready to share your question of the
Right.
day?
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess my question for the next speaker would be, what has been the best Web3 event you've attended so far? Maybe there's so many. I mean, global events.
Hmm.
So, which one has been the best so far for you, and why?
Okay, let me just get it
Oh,
out.
you're typing it up. Okay.
Yeah. So okay, so the question of the day posted by you is, what has been the best Web3 event
Web3
that you
event.
have attended so far and why?
Oh, why? Yeah.
Okay, so this question of the day go out to the next guest, and next guest get ready to answer this before we start the show. So once again, a big thank you to Vanessa for agreeing to be on my show, and also being a great role model, and talk and sharing with people, sharing with everyone about women in games, women in Web3, and that's still a lot of things that women can do in this space, because we are so new. Everybody is learning. Every technology that's involved in
Yes.
Web3 is still new, so there's huge potential. There's no limit as of now, that we see that all this technology can drive us to build a better world. So once again, thank you, Vanessa, and also thanks for those who are tuning in. Especially we have some guests, some friends online that's still tuning in on the live stream. Thank you very much. And for
Right.
those who are watching the replay, do stay tuned for more episode. on every week. So I will see everyone on the next episode. And thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you, Ken.
Bye
Right. Bye,
bye.
everyone.